Hello again, and welcome to Dorset and Guernsey's, I could call it a lockdown demonstration. At the moment we're in our second lockdown, and I'm going to put together a Christmas decoration or an arrangement. At the moment we are self-isolating, so therefore I can't get any flowers. So I've been to my garden, to my shed, in the roof, looking to see what I can put together to make a nice Christmas design. So I have two boxes here, one on top of the other. One's a little bit smaller, covered nicely with some slithers of bark. And in the centre I've got quite a large dish with floral foam, and it's the black one. I quite like the black one. So we'll start by putting something into the back, and here I've got some Restio. I do absolutely adore this plant. It's got such lovely soft features, and it's quite big. It does grow to about 8 foot tall, but it doesn't expand too quickly, so it's not like some things that just go out. This one just inclined to grow very tall. So I'm just putting a little gathering together of this. Oh, let's take that off. So just put a little in the back, just to thicken up my design, and you can look through a little, but it's a little bit more dense. So there's my Restio, and in amongst it I'm going to put a little bit of Christmas. So I've got 4 which really should be hanging that way, and they should be icicles. But I've put them on sticks, put a little berry on the top, and they're going to go in between my Restio. So it lights things up a little. It's amazing what you can find and what you can do when there's nothing else about. It's quite a challenge, but hopefully at the end it'll look okay. So the last one to go in, just there, so you can just look through and just see that little bit of frostiness. So we've got some conifer. It's a slightly grey looking conifer. I'm not quite sure what it is, what it's called. There's just so many conifers that I don't think one can know all their names. So we're gathering this together on the side to flow over the side of my my box, and it just softens the line. Just bringing it up over the edge a little. There, we've just got it flowing over the side. Complement on the other side. I have some fascia leaves, 3 of them somewhere. Here we go. Everything's very wet, I'm afraid, because my foliage was out in the bucket outside in the garden, and we had that torrential rain, so everything's very wet. So just grouping together my 3 fanciers. I'm now going to add a wreath ring, which is the metal one, and I've covered it in wood, and I've put a little bit of highlight of sort of glistening look on it, and I'm going to put this in front. So it's just like enclosing that bit of glittery bits at the back there. So to add more foliage into our design, I need to perhaps get something over the back. So we can use a conifer over the back a little. And I've also got some ivy from the hedgerows. It's just wonderful at the moment. Just out, not quite gone into berry stage, but the bees are absolutely loving it. So that's thickened up that back a little, hasn't it? So I've got a Fats hedgerow here, and during the cut back, I took some of this away. It was getting a little thick, but I didn't throw everything away. I saved it, as I knew I'd be doing some more demonstrations. So that flows over there nicely. You can see a little nibble on that one, so that one comes out to replace it with that one. That's much better. This is a hebe. I'm not sure which hebe, but I just know that it is a hebe, and it doesn't grow too big. So I'm going to just put a little there, and then bring some forward over the wheel, the sphere. So just thickening that up. So that looks a little bit like trees in the woods. And then what do you find in the woods? You find a deer, don't you? So they're Christmas deer, they're reindeer. And I'm going to add these to the design. And they're just coming out of the woodlands. Here I've taken some of my Fats hedgerow and I've made them into little rosettes. And I'm now going to gather them together and put them in a little group over the front. I'm sure you're thinking, how do you do this? And I'll show you in a minute. It makes a lovely textured sort of feeling. And just is a little different to having our ivy and Fats Hedera just flat. So can you see, from that smooth leaf, we've created quite a rough texture. And I'll show you how I do it, but I've got slightly bigger leaves. I thought it would be easier for you to see. So we just put a crease and then fold it in half. And then with a piece of wire, push it through all the segments. And fold it down. So you can see that's just a very large version of this small one here. I'll do it once more for you in case you've not quite got it. Or this one's got a bit missing. One crease, fold together, and then push your wire through all the layers. Sometimes it's a bit difficult, sometimes you hit a sort of a vein. There we go. Fold it down and just wrap it all around. And you can see if you did loads of those that were quite big, you'd have quite something nice to add to your design. So I've got some snowberries. I just caught these before the frosts came, and I'm going to mingle those in amongst my conifer. I've removed all the leaves because they're not quite too lovely to leave on. They're a little bit weather beaten now. I think we've all put our gardens to bed, or perhaps nearly put them to bed. We've been so on top of our gardens this year, it's quite unbelievable, isn't it? So there's our snowberries, just drifting over the side. I've now got 3 fir cones. They're quite large. They've got a little bit of snow on them. And they're going to be trees in the wood. So I've put them onto sticks. And there we have like 3 fir trees in the woods with a little snow on them. A little bit of tree heather. And we'll put this slightly over the back. But we're able to look through to see them through the wreath ring. So it gives you something for your eye to look back through. Oops. So that gives more depth to the design. I made a slightly smaller ring, and that one I'm just going to tip onto the side. I think. So I hope it stays. So we need a little something else to cover our foam. I'm not quite sure of the name of this. It's a very prickly plant, looks very much like holly, but it's not quite as prickly, and it's a little smaller and flatter and much nicer to use. I do find holly quite difficult to use. It's very prickly and not kind to your hands at all. So that's over on that side. And then with some more ivy, which we can put on the front this side. I'm going to cut the berries off and then replace them because they're quite long and far out. And then just put them on a little short stem. But they are beginning to form. So there's our berries in there. So from my little box of goodies, some very tiny cones which will go in amongst this prickly. They sit happily on the corner there. I'm adding a little more conifer now. I just want to sort of layer it down so that it's quite flat. I want to keep it quite low. So that's quite low down there, and then just one more little piece. Then on top of that, we've got some jolly snowmen. So some jolly little snowmen dancing round the fir trees. Now I picked this back in the spring. It's cow parsley, and it's the end of where the seed pods are. I've glistened them with a little glitter, and then I've put a little white ball on top of them. And I'll just add them to the side there. It makes the brain work harder when you have to put things together to make up for what normally might be flowers. Now the name's gone. It's a lovely smelling little plant, dried, and the name has totally gone. You're probably shouting to me at the screen, aren't you, to tell me what it actually is. I might remember in a minute. I get these blank moments. So they're just a little bit of something that's wooden that ties in nicely with our sphere. And this, I'm afraid, is artificial. For those of you who know me, have you noticed I've resisted the baubles? There'd be no baubles in the woods, would there? So just the last thing to put on . Well, I hope you've enjoyed looking at my my demonstration, and I'd like to say I hope you have a happy Christmas. Let's hope we can get together and we can see our loved ones. So just for now, happy Christmas from me. Thank you. Goodbye.